So, so now that we're done with making our model, now we're going to learn some basics of KeyShot. Uh, in this lesson, basically, we're going to apply materials and get ready to do some renderings for the next lesson. So let's go ahead and get started. Um, right now, you can see that it comes in with its own material placed on there. You're going to want to go down here into your library and start choosing what materials you want to implement into your scene here. So first thing you're going to want to do is actually unlink one of these materials. If you go ahead and I just grab one of these over here and apply it, it's just going to apply it to everything that's in the scene. So let's go ahead. We're going to do this front speaker grill first. So let's go ahead. We're going to right click. We're going to hit unlink material. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to use some kind of metallic finish for this. All right, so go ahead and click out of that. You can see how that just applied to that one piece. Now, once you've gotten materials going, what you can do is actually come in here. I can double click on this, and then all the properties of that material come up, along with this little menu of all the materials that are within the scene, and we'll be using this frequently. So let's go ahead, let's change this up a little bit. Get a little bit cleaner color out of it. That looks good. So now that I have one material, I'm going to use the same material to apply to everywhere else. So don't go back into this library to do so. What you want to do is you want to implement this project tab and just start applying that same material just by dragging and unlinking. So again, that's how I just got that to apply. So let's go ahead and let's do all the pieces that we want to be this color. So let's unlink this one, apply that same rough brass material. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do this front grill as well. And again, unlink it, grab, drag, and I'm going to do the same to this side over here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to unlink this. I'm going to unlink the other grill, drag and drop. It's really easy. Again, unlink this one and drag and drop. Okay, now we have the brass. We're going to continue to do this with different materials. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do an off-white for the main bodies of these. So I'm going to unlink that. I'm going to click out of here. I'm going to go into my library again. I'm going to find some kind of shiny plastic that will work for me. This looks pretty good. And you can use just whatever comes out of here. If you're satisfied with that color, I would leave it. Again, you can always just double click and you can change how you want that to look. So if I want it to be a little bit more towards an orange instead of a yellow, I could go over here and use that. You can also save swatches down here for different scenes that you want to maybe color code this metallic with shiny plastic like that. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to unlink this. And again, we're just going to drag and drop all of this to where we want it. So I'm going to unlink the other body, drag and drop. That's going to be our last piece that we're going to do that way. Let's go ahead, I want to make this top table some kind of wood finish. So let's go into our library. We have a section for wood down here. I'm going to use some kind of light oak. There's several different woods within there. So right now, it's not light enough for me. So I'm going to go into those settings and kind of finesse where I want it to be. So that's nice and light. Also, if we zoom in here, you don't really see the grain. So what you want to do is go into the textures, and that's where they're mapping the wood texture itself. So I can come in here and I can scale that down and keep scaling to whatever fine finish I want. So I'm going to scale this pretty far down. I want it pretty small. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here and maybe just put some really low number. I could probably put a 0 there and get away with it. Now I don't like the angle of that grain either. So I can come down here, I can go in here and change the grain. Go ahead and put 0. And now I have a nice linear grain going across this table. That looks pretty good to me. Now another material we're going to use is a clear finish. So let's go ahead and unlink this leg. We're going to do this for all of the legs. And we're going to use a glass material because they have a dense glass material. And there's a good dense white one right here. Go ahead, we're going to do this to all of them. So let's unlink this leg. Go back into our project space where we have all of our materials in here and just drag and drop. We're going to do the same for this leg. And the same for this one. And now we're going to come in here, we're going to do the base legs for our receiver that we put on top of the table. So go ahead and unlink one of those legs, apply it, unlink another one, just drag and drop. And make sure you're just make sure you're dragging it to the appropriate spot, because sometimes they'll try to apply to another surface like here, and just make sure you just hold on to it until you actually get to where you want to drop it. We're also going to do these speaker legs the same. So let's go ahead, let's drag and drop that. Unlink this one, drag and drop. And I think that's all we're going to use for the clear. So let's go on and zoom into one of these speakers. We're going to put a black material in here to really make that screen, that vent pop. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to go into miscellaneous. Maybe I'll go into fabrics. Yeah, nice dark leather should work pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put that in there. And again, use the same material from your library. So let's go ahead, zoom in here. Let's unlink that. Go into our projects. Find that material that we were using on the other one. This is also in case if you ever change that material, it changes with all of them. So let's go on and zoom into this front panel. We're going to make this some kind of shiny plastic. It's going to be a black material, so let's go ahead and find a shiny black. Drag and drop. Go back into our project menu. We can see that material there. Unlink and apply. I'm also going to make this knob the same gold as the rest that's kind of happening around here. Minus, I'm going to make this a soft touch kind of material. Even if I'm not going to take a rendering of that detail right now, later on, if you ever want to do those details, you're going to wish that you put it in there. So just make sure you do all the details exactly how you want them to be, even if you're going to do a rendering from this far out and you're really not going to be able to see it. So let's go ahead, let's get these bottom feet as well. We're going to unlink that. We could probably use just a soft white material for that. Go ahead and hit that with that one. Scroll over. Make sure we unlink this one before we apply that same material. So we'll unlink that, go into our projects again, scroll down, find that soft touch white, apply it. And now we're going to do the chords back here. So let's go ahead, let's unlink that. Let's get a little bit closer to it so we can see how the material is reacting to it. We're going to go ahead and go to miscellaneous for this. We're going to use this one called Potato Sack. It's got a cool tweed kind of finish to itself. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. Double click on it. When you come in here, we can change the properties of it. And I'm going to try to make it look similar to that gold that we're using. So that looks pretty good. Could probably be a little bit more orange. That looks good. Now you can see it doesn't look very tweed right now, and that's because, again, go into the texture, and we have to scale this down a bit. So go ahead and just drag that back a little bit until you find the right texture that you're looking for. So that's looking pretty close. You can maybe go down or up. I think it could go up a little bit. So we'll bring that up a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. That looks pretty good. Now we're going to zoom out. We're going to apply that same material to this other one. So unlink that, go into your projects, and apply it. And now we're all set up.